Greetings. Before I tell this story, I would ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stories like this. And now we begin our story.
Alara Whitcomb stood frozen beside Rowan Fletcher's car, the fading sunlight casting long shadows across the driveway. Her heart pounded fiercely as she stared down at the unexpected discovery in her palm. Two golden bands, smooth and gleaming, unmistakably wedding rings. She had never seen them before, yet they lay nestled in the small compartment between the seats, hidden behind Rowan's belongings. The cold nickel of the keys in her other hand felt suddenly insignificant compared to the weight of those rings, which immediately seeded doubt and confusion deep within her. Her mind raced through memories and moments shared with Rowan. The man she had vowed to trust, to cherish, now seemed layered with secrets. The rings were a silent accusation, a clue that something hidden thrived beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect marriage. Alara's thoughts spiraled into an endless loop of questions. Whose rings were these? Why had Rowan left them in his car, as if inviting discovery? Was this a careless mistake, or an intentional act? The door to mistrust creaked open, and despite her yearning for clarity, a niggling fear rooted itself firmly within her. Alara's relationship with Rowan had been a blend of warmth and occasional cold distance, but never outright concealment. Her mind flickered to Lysander Crow, a name that still stirred painful echoes. Lysander was once her lover, a man whose charm and reckless passion had torn through her life like a tempest. Their chapter ended long ago, yet his shadow lingered, intertwining with her present in unsettling ways. Could Rowan's inexplicable possession of rings relate to Lysander's turbulent past? Or was Tobias Grimshaw, Rowan's colleague with a reputation forged in darkness, dragging them into secrets neither of them wished to confront? Marcellus Vane, Rowan's loyal assistant and closest confidant, occupied another corner of Alara's thoughts. Marcellus was a steady presence, the kind of friend who shielded Rowan from his own flaws while keeping a watchful eye on the edges of his world. Could he hold answers Alara herself was not yet capable of seeing? As Alara closed the car door softly, a mix of resolve and dread settled over her. She needed the truth, even if it threatened to unravel everything she believed in. Later, over cups of rich, simmering tea, Alara confided in Isolde Quinn, her trusted friend who had been a refugee during darker days. Isolde listened attentively, her eyes reflecting both empathy and determination. "We can't ignore this," she said quietly. "Rowan deserves to be confronted, but carefully. There are too many pieces moving in this puzzle. Lysander's reappearance, the strange behavior of Tobias, and now these rings. Someone's hiding something profound." Alara nodded slowly, feeling the first stirrings of courage begin to form amidst her storm of doubt. The tension at home grew palpable. Rowan's evasive glances, the terse replies to questions, and the sudden secrecy around his phone only strengthened Alara's suspicions. One evening, while Rowan was distracted by a call with Tobias, Alara's fingers hovered over his messages, desperate for a clue, yet fearful of what she might find. Trust was fraying at the edges, and Rowan's world, once clear and full of promise, now resembled a labyrinth with shifting walls. Rowan himself grappled with hidden turmoil, between balancing his professional responsibilities and shielding Alara from truths that could devastate her. He walked a precarious line. Lysander, with his bitter resentment and unresolved attachment, loomed as a threat to the fragile peace Rowan fought to maintain. Tobias, whose allegiance seemed ever uncertain, pulled Rowan deeper into shadows of corporate intrigue and personal compromise. Underneath it all, Marcellus's quiet vigilance sought to anchor Rowan, even as the entire fabric of their lives threatened to unravel. With the rings as an ominous catalyst, Alara now understood that her marriage existed within a complex web of old wounds and fresh betrayals. She could no longer pretend ignorance, no longer cling to the safe narratives that had once surrounded her love story. As night fell and silence settled over the house, Alara stared out the window, her mind already preparing for the confrontation that would alter everything. The secrets hidden in Rowan's car were merely the beginning of a deeper journey, one that would test loyalties and redefine the meaning of trust itself. Tomorrow would demand courage and clarity. The threads connecting all of them, Alara, Rowan, Lysander, Marcellus, Isolde, and Tobias, began to twist tighter, the shadows growing longer. What lay ahead was uncertain, but one truth was undeniable. Nothing in their world would ever be the same again. Tini из прошлого и новые подозрения, Alara Whitcomb never imagined that a simple car cleanup would unravel threads of a past she thought was tightly sealed. The gleam of unfamiliar rings nestled beneath the passenger seat shattered the calm she clung to. Her fingers trembled as she held them, recognizing the delicate engraving. Questions swirled in her mind like a storm, igniting a cocktail of confusion and dread. How long had these symbols of promise been hidden from her, and why now, of all times, did they surface? Her heart pounded as Rowan Fletcher's image flooded her thoughts. The man she vowed to trust, yet whose life was now shrouded in inexplicable shadows. She considered confronting him immediately, but chose caution instead. The silence between them suddenly felt cavernous, loaded with unspoken truths. Alara's instincts screamed that this discovery was merely the tip of a much darker iceberg lurking beneath their seemingly peaceful life. Then came Lysander Crow, stirring the turbulent waters of Alara's emotions. His reappearance was anything but coincidental. Once her lover, once her confidant, his return felt like a ghost stepping out from the ashes of old wounds. Lysander's charm was undiminished, and his sudden presence cast a long shadow over her fragile resolve. His eyes held secrets that danced dangerously close to rekindling old flames and resurrecting old pains, leaving Alara torn between past and present. Amidst this chaos, Isolde Quinn proved to be an unwavering pillar of strength. She enveloped Alara in warmth, her presence a constant reminder that not all battles needed to be faced alone. Isolde's keen intuition saw through the veils of deception and offered clarity where confusion reigned. Together they mapped out strategies, balancing cautious skepticism with heartfelt support. Her counsel was the steady beacon guiding Alara through a labyrinth of doubt and betrayal. Meanwhile, at Rowan's workplace, the atmosphere thickened with tension. Marcellus Vane, Rowan's assistant and closest friend, navigated the increasing complexities with loyalty and discretion. He sensed the vulnerability lurking behind Rowan's composed exterior and endeavored to shield his employer from mounting pressures. Yet Marcellus himself grappled with fragments of loyalty, torn between friendship and preserving the fragile truths unveiled. Complications multiplied when Tobias Grimshaw entered the fray. A colleague with a murky past and sharp instincts, Tobias's subtle manipulations added layers of intrigue. His cryptic comments and carefully veiled observations suggested there were deeper secrets entwined in this web of relationships. Rowan's trust in Tobias was tested as alliances began to blur, prompting cautious reevaluation of who truly stood by his side. Alara found herself navigating this tangled landscape of emotions with mounting unease. The presence of Lysander unsettled not only her heart, but also threatened the foundation of her marriage. Rowan's unexplained behavior and the shadow cast by Tobias's ambiguity intensified her suspicions. Every encounter became a battlefield of concealed motives and unspoken fears, where trust was a fragile currency. The rings symbolized more than just a secret romance. They became emblems of fractured loyalties and buried truths. Their discovery forced the characters to confront uncomfortable realities about themselves and each other. Alara's journey transformed from bewildered wife to vigilant seeker of truth, emboldened by the support of Isolde, yet challenged by the resurging past embodied by Lysander. Rowan's internal struggle echoed through his interactions with Marcellus and Tobias, reflecting the clash between professional duties and personal turmoil. The intricate dance of alliances and betrayals revealed the fragility beneath his stoic facade. As tensions escalated, Rowan found himself at the crossroads of confession and concealment, caught between the need to protect his family and the burden of secrets. Lysander's calculated moves rippled through the fragile equilibrium, testing loyalties and provoking unexpected confrontations. His presence was a catalyst, igniting dormant emotions and exposing vulnerabilities with precision. Alara's resilience was put to the test as she wrestled with forgiveness, doubt, and the possibility of redemption. The dynamic between the three central figures created a compelling tension, drawing the narrative forward with relentless momentum. Isolda's role grew ever more crucial as the emotional stakes heightened. Her unwavering support and perceptive insights not only bolstered Alara, but also highlighted the importance of solidarity amid chaos. Together, they strategized ways to uncover the full story behind the rings and to decipher Rowan's increasingly opaque behavior. Their partnership symbolized hope and strength, anchoring the narrative amid the storm. In parallel, Marcellus and Tobias engaged in a subtle battle for influence within Rowan's orbit. Marcellus's loyalty clashed with Tobias's intrigue-fueled maneuvers, painting a portrait of workplace politics entangled with personal dramas. Their interactions added complexity to the overarching mystery, hinting at layers yet to be unveiled. Each conversation charged with subtext, every glance filled with hidden meaning. The discovery of the rings also sparked introspection within Alara, prompting her to reassess her relationship with Rowan and her own identity. Questions of trust, betrayal, and forgiveness intertwined, challenging her perceptions and decisions. Was Rowan's silence a protection or an indictment? Could the past truly be buried, or was it destined to resurface and redefine their future? Amid these questions, Alara's connection with Isolda offered a sanctuary and a sounding board, where doubts were voiced and strategies devised. Their dialogues revealed not only the depth of their friendship, but also the extent to which Alara's world was unraveling. Through shared confidences, Alara found the courage to face the uncertainty ahead and the strength to seek truth, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, Rowan confronted his own demons. Haunted by choices long made and secrets kept, he stood at a precipice, torn between confession and self-preservation. Marcellus's unwavering presence reminded him of the value of trust, yet the enigmatic actions of Tobias injected further complications. The tension within Rowan heightened, mirroring the escalating turmoil within his household. Lysander's re-entry was not a mere coincidence, but a deliberate move to unsettle and reclaim what he once lost. His manipulations were subtle yet effective, weaving doubt and nostalgia into Alara's psyche. The emotional complexity introduced by his return challenged the stability of Rowan and Alara's marriage in profound ways. This triangle of relationships drove the narrative into realms of passion, regret, and confrontation. As these threads entwined, the narrative built a rich tapestry of secrets and emotions. Each character's motivations, fears, and alliances contributed to a multifaceted story of love and deception. The intertwining of personal and professional spheres added depth, making every revelation impactful and every interaction charged with meaning. The story's pulse quickened as characters navigated this intricate maze. The discovery of the rings functioned as a catalyst for unveiling layers of hidden narratives. What had been dormant suddenly surged to the surface, demanding acknowledgement and action. Alara's journey became emblematic of the struggle to reconcile past with present, truth with illusion. The emotional resonance of these events rippled through all involved, signaling inevitable change. In the midst of personal turmoil, professional intrigues offered parallel challenges. Tobias's shadowy presence and Marcellus's steadfast loyalty created contrasting forces influencing Rowan's decisions. Their dynamic underscored themes of trust, betrayal, and the complexities of human relationships within and beyond family boundaries. This interplay enriched the narrative's texture. Alara's resilience emerged as a focal point, shaped by adversity and bolstered by friendship. Her evolving perceptions and choices carried substantial weight, driving the story forward with emotional intensity. Together with Isolda, her quest for clarity fostered a compelling portrait of courage and vulnerability. Their alliance illuminated paths through darkness and uncertainty. Meanwhile, Rowan's internal conflict painted a nuanced portrayal of a man grappling with the consequences of hidden truths. His interactions with Marcellus and Tobias revealed layers of loyalty and suspicion, deepening the story's psychological complexity. The mounting pressure on Rowan paralleled the unraveling of familial trust, heightening dramatic tension. Lysander's enigmatic return acted as a disruptor, injecting suspense and emotional upheaval. His strategic charm and unresolved history with Alara added urgency and gravity to the unfolding drama. This element enriched the narrative's texture, challenging characters and readers alike to question motivations and anticipate outcomes. As the story progressed, the stage was set for pivotal decisions and revelations. The delicate balance between concealment and disclosure hung by a thread, promising momentous consequences. The intertwined fates of Alara, Rowan, Lysander, Marcellus, Isolde, and Tobias created a vibrant mosaic of intrigue, emotion, and transformation. This chapter closed, leaving the door open to confrontations and resolutions yet to come. The resonance of the discovered rings continued to echo, entwining past shadows with emerging truths. As Alara prepared to step forward with newfound strength and resolve, the complex narrative poised itself for the next wave of revelations and choices. The intricate dance of trust and betrayal was far from over. Pravda между кольцами и ложью. The moment Alara's fingers brushed against the cold metal of the rings nestled in Rowan's glove compartment, a tempest of emotions erupted within her. These were not their rings, familiar and treasured. They gleamed with the polished innocence of another union, foreign and forbidden. The stark reality shattered the fragile trust she had cradled through years of marriage, propelling her down a path riddled with suspicion and disbelief. Her heart pounded as the walls of her carefully constructed world trembled, revealing cracks she could no longer ignore. Rowan's denial was swift but fraught with a vulnerability Alara rarely saw. When confronted, his eyes darted away, shadows flickering behind them. "I can explain," he whispered, voice tinged with desperation. The rings, he confessed, belonged to a woman from his past. Lysander Crow's name slipped from his lips hesitantly, a ghost resurfacing to haunt their present. Alara's mind raced, memories of Lysander's relentless presence and the tension he cultivated in their lives swirling ominously. The truth twisted, each revelation peeling back layers of lies and half-spoken confessions. Isolde stood by Alara's side during those bewildering hours, offering quiet strength with a steadiness that no turmoil could unsettle. She reminded Alara of her own worth when doubts crept in like shadows, whispering that love ought to be transparent, a beacon rather than a veil. Still, the ache lingered, as Rowan's story presented more questions than answers. Marcellus, Rowan's closest confidant, revealed a deeper complexity. Those rings were a symbol of a debt, a promise made in desperation during a darker chapter of Rowan's life, tangled with Tobias Grimshaw's insidious influence. Tobias was a man whose presence tainted more than just Rowan's professional sphere. His past embraced secrets steeped in manipulation and coercion, circles reaching far beyond what Alara could fathom. Each confession unraveled the web binding Rowan to past mistakes and dangerous alliances, coloring his actions in shades Alara had never imagined. Yet, despite it all, there was a flicker of genuine remorse in Rowan's posture, a yearning to reclaim the future they once dreamt of together. In this crucible of truth, the boundaries between betrayal and misunderstood intentions blurred. Alara wrestled not only with her husband's failings, but with the person he had become, under pressures concealed from her. Lysander's shadow lurked still, a reminder of unresolved chapters and the fragility of trust rebuilt from shattered fragments. Questions of forgiveness and the possibility of regrowth underscored every exchange, challenging Alara to discern where love ended and self-preservation began. Marcellus's intervention proved pivotal, offering insight into Rowan's silent battles. He unveiled the nature of the promises Rowan had been compelled to make, painting Tobias Grimshaw not merely as a colleague, but as a puppet master, manipulating fates with sinister intent. This deeper understanding did not excuse deceit, but illuminated the gray territories where loyalty, fear, and desperation collided. Ilara's anger softened, replaced by a profound sorrow for a husband trapped in shadows beyond his control. Isolde encouraged Ilara to voice her pain, urging transparency between her and Rowan to dismantle the fortress of secrets. Their conversations, raw and unfiltered, slowly chipped away at the chasm of silence that had grown between them. Each shared confession and tear-streaked apology forged a tentative bridge, fragile but grounded in a newfound commitment to honesty. Ilara's realization that truth, however painful, was the cornerstone of reconciliation marked a turning point in their fractured relationship. The rings, once symbols of fidelity, became metaphors for the intertwined lives and tangled destinies that defined Rowan and Ilara's journey. In acknowledging the complexities of their past, they confronted not just personal transgressions, but the broader forces that shaped their narrative, betrayal wielded by external players, and internal struggles for redemption. The discovery sparked a metamorphosis, compelling both to reassess their roles, their identities, and the fragile tapestry of trust. Rowan's confession about Lysander's manipulations revealed a web of threats and emotional blackmail that had infiltrated their lives, forcing choices that placed Ilara's pain at the center of unintended consequences. The confrontation was not merely about fidelity, but survival within a landscape shaped by powerful enemies and unspoken fears. Ilara's growing empathy did not diminish her hurt, but kindled an understanding of the suffocating pressures burdening Rowan's conscience. In this crucible of upheaval, the presence of allies like Marcellus and Isolde became indispensable. Their counsel and unwavering loyalty forged an external support network that buoyed both Rowan and Ilara through moments of despair. Marcellus's insights revealed the intricacies of Tobias Grimshaw's influence, a shadowy figure whose ambitions threatened to dismantle everything Rowan had fought to protect. Isolde's friendship underscored the indispensable role of compassion and resilience amid chaos. As nights gave way to tentative dawns, Ilara and Rowan began reconstructing the narrative of their shared history, integrating painful truths with a vision for healing. The path forward was neither linear nor effortless, fraught with setbacks and raw emotions. Yet, within the fractures lay unexpected opportunities for renewal. They recognized that reconciliation required courage, a willingness to confront vulnerabilities, and embrace uncertain futures beyond the palette of pain and regret. Ilara's discovery of the rings, once a catalyst for bitter confrontation, transformed into a symbol of the complex interplay between truth and deception, love and survival. In navigating these turbulent waters, they glimpsed the possibility of redemption through honesty and mutual understanding. The secret burdens Rowan carried were unveiled not to justify, but to humanize, a reminder that beneath flawed choices lay an earnest desire for forgiveness and renewal. The tension that permeated their interactions gradually softened into dialogues marked by openness. Rowan's humility in acknowledging mistakes gave Ilara the space to express both heartbreak and hope. Their shared vulnerabilities forged a fragile alliance, planted firmly against the tempestuous winds of external threats embodied by the likes of Tobias and Lysander. This alliance was not an erasure of the past, but an honest acknowledgement, spanning pain and possibility. In the quiet moments between revelations, Ilara pondered the intricate threads weaving their lives. Trust, once fractured by secrets and silence, stood at the cusp of repair. The presence of rites and symbols, the rings, transcended their physical form to embody the complexities of choice and consequence. What began as a discovery shrouded in suspicion evolved into a poignant exploration of morality, loyalty, and the irreducible humanity within imperfection. As the curtain fell on this chapter of their journey, a delicate balance emerged. Rowan and Ilara faced the future with cautious resolve, fortified by truths unveiled and bonds reforged. The menacing presence of Lysander and Tobias lingered still, but no longer held the same daunting power over their fate. Instead, a newfound clarity and mutual commitment illuminated the path ahead, a terrain where trust could be rebuilt, step by wary step. With the rings returned to their rightful place, their significance redefined by the trials endured, Rowan and Alara understood that the real journey was just beginning. What had once been a token of betrayal became a catalyst for honesty and growth. As dawn broke over their shared horizon, the promise of a renewed partnership shimmered, fragile yet undeniable, beckoning them forward into a future shaped by transparency, courage, and the unyielding strength of love. The story had reached its pivotal moment, but within this resolution sparked new questions and challenges. The next steps would demand resilience and grace as Rowan and Alara navigated the aftermath of revelation, a delicate dance between confronting lingering shadows and embracing the dawn beyond. Their journey, marked by hardship and hope, promised to unfold in ways neither could yet foresee.